By losing game 2 in our first series of the day, LGD did lock out of playoffs, sadly.
Oh, wow.
That game three that they beat Wobo for was entirely blue shell. There was nothing in it for themselves. Sad for them. However, it opens up teams like WE and TT a bit of breathing room. TT, for them, it's a real opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Locking in the Renekton first pick. I have to say, Hoyer on the Renekton has not impressed me. I much preferred his Cassante. I think it's his best champion by far. I know that this means that you can hide a pick later into the draft, but as a blue 1 pick, I don't like this.
It feels like there's enough picks out there that a Renekton blind top first pick feels a little bit awkward. The Smolder ban away this time by, of course, WE. Instead, they just immediately lock in a Rumble, which Way would, of course, very confident on. And we've seen this matchup earlier today be pretty successful, frankly, for the Rumble into the Renekton. Of course, a little bit of jungle attention can make that one a bit of a different matter, but of course, let's see what they want to lock in alongside at home, debating the...
I mean, this is the OMG
Maokai,
combo
yeah.
from last year. You have Maokai as support or jungle to lock down people with that Rumble. We've seen Birdol play the Rumble into the Renekton twice earlier today. And that means that you now have team fight combo extraordinaire, potential topside strength from Rumble and the Maokai, but still not locked into anything. Well, technically, it could be a flex of the Rumble towards support as well if I want. He wants to pick up something different too. So WE holding some cards to their chest still.
Harder to perhaps pull off the Rumble without something like Callista, which has often been a regular one there, but they'll instead now be facing into the Lucian Milio, and the Milio can help mitigate the Maokai's ability to stop Lucian going forwards, of course. One of the big answers with and for the, with and against rather, the Lucian has been the Maokai ultimate, but you can maybe match that a little.
Yes, exactly.
Tristana on the other side is locked in.
Right now, Nami is much better for Lucian going aggressive, but when you're playing towards the Maokai, the Milio allows you to play aggressive, even with less damage, but it gives you the cleanse to outplay the Maokai ultimate. If you get locked down with the Maokai ultimate on top of a Rumble ult, your team fight is over. You know, say hello to the grey screen for us. Fofo, picking up the Tristana, which he's played a bit before. Again, this is looking like a very 2023 draft from Team WE, particularly halfway through spring and going into summer. Maokai Tristana as a mid-jungle, Rumble, Maokai as a top lane jungle duo as well. Very, very powerful. You can see that because Prince also plays a lot of utility champions. Of course, he's still playing as well. He's not playing, Stay has not been subbed in at any point. He is happy, well, both AD carries do play a lot of the Jhin and the Ashe and stuff like the utility AD carries, which could also help with this combo for long-range pick CC into the Equalizer.
Well, be an option, which is why that's banned out, as you kind of noted. On the other side, double control mages that UCal has favoured. The Talia last game was pretty scary. Last ban here, you imagine, might well be another one of those AD carry bans. Of course, the Tristana could always go towards the bot lane, so it's always a bit of a difficult one to figure out. They'll get rid of the Blitzcrank, which of course is very good with things like the Maokai still, because obviously one sets up the other very, very easily. It's very hard to miss a Blitzcrank hook on a mobile target, but I say that as having seen and done that myself before. It's definitely possible.
Right, Prince Owandi, probably two of the players who play the most intricate bot lane champions that we've seen so far. Owandi's Brad has been absolutely spectacular. That's some great hair, by the way.
Excellent.
I love that hair. But now you're looking at last pick. You think you're likely last picking AD carry. I don't think you're putting this Tristana into a Bard lane. I think that gets absolutely shredded by the Lucian Milio. UCal, he has his choice of his mages as well. Fofo was the player picking up the Quay last time. That would be a little slow for this team composition. So the Nico can help them go a little bit further forwards. And Beichuan, who really dominated a lot of the early game on the Viego, which we actually didn't see. We tuned it to the game about 16 minutes in game 1 due to the extension on Series 1. Could potentially lock this in again and look for, again, Reset City alongside his team.
Yeah, that'll be the plan. Lucian pouncing forwards in the Viego and the Nico. Gonna capitalize on that, or one or the other, starting up for the other to go down. Of course, now, what does Prince want to lock in on the bot side? Has played a bit of the Misfortune. So that hover makes some sense, but I feel like we're going to wait and see, because there are a few options.
Well, this is the thing, right? I don't really want to talk about the hovers, because what do you want stylistically out of this? You want something that can join in with the combo, likely, and also survive lane versus the Lucian Milio. That's kind of your calling card here. Okay. They go towards the Kai'Sa. He had a mixed game on the Kai'Sa last game, some bad positioning, some almost hero plays, couldn't get it done. In this one, I feel like the Kai'Sa Bard struggles in lane versus Lucian Milio. I think they struggle at one item as well. Later into the game, though, if Lucian missteps, particularly if the Maokai ult catches him, you can assassinate with the Tristana. Double mobile AD carries jumping into the face of one of these squishies. Very, very powerful. quite hard to outplay the Nico, I'll say, because your ultimate never carries you away from the Nico's ult range. That can be a very dangerous point. So Prince, his positioning needs to be on point in a way that it wasn't in game 1.
Also, then we have to talk about WE's vision control, because frankly, the fact that Jojo managed to slip off vision that many times without the team having any idea about it is not a good look for WE. And especially if Jojo gets to do that again, it could prove very problematic indeed. You know, well and good for Prince. Standing a little too close to a bush, he shouldn't have, but that bush should never have been awarded in the first place. We get to lock in. The Lucian once again beginning to rear its head in priority a little bit. I think slipped away with the rise of Smolder and Senna. People feeling once again like you can get some value out of it. On the other side, Maokai, Rumble, that combo that was so prevalent last year, back on the rift for WE.
This game, very, very important for both these teams again. We're getting to the point where teams have about 2-3 series left. 3 series right now after you've played this. It'll be kind of like close to that mark. TT, they are not in playoffs right now. There are win, or let's be honest, 2 wins really behind where they want to be for playoffs. They have, you know, some difficult series coming up. This one feels like it is the easiest of them. They face top esports and FPX at the end of their split. If they can get this one, though, they just turn up the heat. Now, to the likes of Weibo, who lost that series earlier today, and WE, they might not even be safe as well if a couple of other teams push that envelope a little further towards the 7-win bracket as the lockout from playoffs. I was saying earlier as well, one of the things about these teams is, yes, playoffs qualification, but also, realistically, how good are you going to do when you're in playoffs? I feel like looking at the 7th to 10th mark from LPL right now, there are a lot of teams I look at and say, actually, these are teams which are all quite exploitable. They have a lot of things to figure out. You know, you have teams like Team WE, which we're seeing right now, OMG, which have been about the place, Anyone's Legend, which of course now had Coach Tabe come into the roster. Yep. Maybe that can revolutionize what they're doing, but still a lot of work to be done there. And then of course LNG, Weibo, and potentially TT, who could be going in towards the last spots for LPL playoffs in spring 2024. All of these teams want to not just qualify, but also improve and make sure that they're not just going to be another team that loses in first round of playoffs.
To make sure that they are a potential threat. Sometimes easier said than done with how dangerous a lot of these LPL teams are and how like unforgiving the playoff schedule is. A lot of these teams, step one is getting into it, but once you're there, especially if you're starting at the bottom end of that bracket, it is a mighty, mighty climb to get anywhere near the top of the standings then.
Let's have a look at these priorities. Yucal, wait, did he walk up? Oh, that's what happened. He took one of the early heals, even though I wanted to put it down for him. Fofa, buddy, that's not great. Yeah, it does work on the overheal. I was wondering where he got the slight overheal from at level 1. I was thinking, did he hit someone with that with a fleet footback? No, he just took one of the hot chocolates, which is normally very important. You can see that 1xN and Chocho. Of course, they're just about surviving in terms of level 1, Kaiser Q, and access to the wave, giving them level 2 first off, but still, a little bit awkward there. 1xN Chocho, now they're going to hit themselves to level 2. I really feel like Prince and Iwandi need to be careful in this laning phase. Melee Lucian, well, not surprising, we've seen a lot now, but they have a lot of turnaround burst in quick succession.
Especially if they find moments when cooldowns are down, the ability to hop forward with a Cozy Campfire and do that is pretty good. The Cosmic Binding was good. Still going to be an overall winning trade for Thunder Talk, just about.
Sen, Chocho had a good game last time. 1xN on the Smolder, of course, was the scaling extraordinaire. I really liked his itemization. The Kanik Rooken and late game really changed the way that he played out the game. Good dodge out. 1xN. You know, we talked a lot about his affiliates in the past. Talked about some of his other champions too, but really the Lucian has been the one he's found LPL success on. The FLS he does well on an individual level while his team kind of falls apart. The Lucian has been the one which the team kind of succeeds with at the same time. Now junglers, opposite side of the map, W8D2 on bot side. Now you do have Iwandi with the ability to tunnel through the wall, that magical journey, very, very important in terms of staying safe, and Prince and Iwandi not quite able to crash in this wave. If they can trim out this wave on bot side, there's a chance that actually they lose some turrets, lose some minions closer towards that turret.
Iwandi got to be a little bit careful about his roam here. Might about to face a little bit of damage from W8D2, and that's a decent chunk there onto Iwandi. W8D2 keeps going. Gets stunned at the end, but looks for the vision control plant and will look to flash for the stun. Does hit it. That might force Iwandi to burn the exhaust and the flash. Huge win for Thunder Talk, because that makes 1xN and Chocho's life a lot easier.
Things on top side, Chocho's in mid lane. We've got 2 different plays, 3 in 3 lanes over as many minutes.
Dash away from Hoya, he's trying to survive, gets knocked back with the Bramble Smash. The turret aggro is well balanced by WE, and they do get first blood on the top side, and Hoya in a real way to outplay that.
Yeah, so basically W8D2 He stops I1D from getting a good reset. That will affect bot lane. You can see he's very late to bot side. Prince has to back off from the wave. That is at the cost that W8 knowing exactly what Beitron is doing and the fact that he can't respond to what's happening on top side. Kill goes over to the Ignite Rumble of Wayward, the gatekeeper top laner. If you fall behind against this guy, if you're not confident in your laning and individual ability, things go from bad to worse. However, TT, though they didn't get themselves first blood, because of the failed crash from Prince and I1D, which is a big problem, and also the stop of the recall from I1D by Beitron, you can see that a CS lead is starting to build in bot side, and they have a crash being built up.
Without the flash or the exhaust, it could get very dangerous for the bubble. Have a look at this top lane dive, because it is relatively well executed here by W8.
They don't reset the turret aggro on Hung, which can be a bit of a problem, but there's no rage on Renekton. You need the rage to get the empowered stun, the extra damage, and the extra healing. Not able to do so, and against the Ignite, easy as you like. So W8, advantage on top side, going to start falling behind a little bit on bot side unless they can fix this wave a little more. Want to see if TT can do something on the bot side. Crash, though.
Exactly that. Dashing on forwards onto Prince and getting a lot of damage, of course. Remember, they have just got the summoner advantage down here. 1xM with the Ignite can prove very threatening.
He has Ignite. He takes the trade around the first strike as well. Hoya's going to get walked up by on Wayward. The overheat's coming through. Hoya, does he have it in power? He has nothing right now. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Wanderer up taken. Beitron doesn't have level 6 just yet. It'd be a real threat if he was, but Wayward starting to flex the muscles.
No, he missed it. Gets it anyway. My god, that smite being 9 HP off could have proved very deadly, but does manage to secure it with the Blade of the Ruined King.
Now we go ourselves back towards more silent laning phase. You can see that I really liked how 1xN and Chocho used that brief moment of kind of failed resets from W8 towards the bot side of the map. It will be a 2-for-1 grub trade. Hung will get himself some extra XP from that first one. The first grub gives you double the XP of the other two, so you kind of get 4 grubs worth if you take all 3. But Beitron, he gets himself 2 out of them. Either way, so W8 significantly top side. Bot side has not been too bad for them. You did see that, 1xN managed to take a good trade at level 4 to level 3. Can be a bit of a problem sometimes when those plays start to rack up. But on the whole, though, credit to Prince and I1D. They managed to survive the laning phase of the melee illusion, which can be pretty difficult. Dragon started now.
Is indeed. That will be the Bard and the Viego setting that one up. I1D comes on down, throws down a Cosmic Binding. It does go wide. There's a Honey Fruit available. Base one. Still got this Dragon aggro, so should be Thunder Talks for the taking.
So, double stun as well. It's not going to stop the Dragon going down. 1xN going up to get the assist onto that Dragon as well.
I just wondered whether there was a little bit of room there for an auto or a Q over the wall there from I1D, because there wasn't using the smite, but it works out just fine in the end. I got a little nervous for a second. I've seen that happen enough times into a Bard.
As this game goes forwards, I really want to keep my eyes on UCal. UCal is a player who I thought had a fantastic 2023, particularly spring. I think summer was strong as well. But for me, UCal, despite the fact that they qualified for one playoffs and went out in round 1, they didn't qualify in the next split, this team, particularly around UCal, was so good. He was such a magnificent player. I would have said he was a top 5 mid laner in the LPL. He was genuinely that impressive. He's not had that level of performance again. However, if you can have just a flash of brilliance here to close this out in game 2, with something like a Nico, with good threat in this game, I really feel like UCal has the position to do so. Let's see if you can channel that once more. A lot of targets, a lot of squishies on the other side. You can really threaten it.
Xen dashing forward to get some value from the first strike just before that with the Ardent Blaze. I1D, you remember, has not got his flash up yet. The exhaust has now come off cooldown. But it is 1xN and Chocho with the early lane lead here in terms of the CS. They did get the better first back.
And basically, 1xN and Chocho have just had much better lane control. Lane understanding. What happens when you fail a reset? Oh, well, you can't turn up for this next wave. I can force you off of that, force the wave into a place that I want to, crash for a better reset for myself, and then play around that again. So that's led to the lead so far. You can see that Prince and I1D, they're trading okay, but they're just not understanding the waves as much. Hoya now trying to find a gap in the pressure of this rumble. No minion aggro on him, though. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, it would have been nice to grab that, but didn't quite happen. Hoya with the ultimate down. Going to clear the wave, I think, but unfortunately for him, he's still going to be afraid because once this pops off, there's still the danger of the Ignite, of the Equalizer, that could prove very difficult.
Well, Wayward on that kind of HP without trading back actually means that Hoya, with a couple of empowered abilities, might be able to kill. That is going to be Equalizer dropped again. Now Wayward realizes, okay, yeah, I've got to clear the wave. Hoya are basically max rage, actually really threatening right here. His level 8 though, I think he's safe. Hoya can hold the wave now, and that means he'll get himself a moment to wait out his teleport timer if he wants. Instead, he clears it out fully and says, okay, now's the time for the reset potentially himself.
quiz.
No.
What is the passive of Renekton called?
Is it Fury of the Sounds?
That's the...
Fury of the Sands?
It's, that's his tag.
I thought that was the Butcher of the Sands or something like that.
Anyway, it's Reign of Anger.
Reign of Anger. Ah, yeah.
Which is the big one.
Oh, that's an auto attack onto a minion there from Chocho. That kind of sucks. Well, Beitron's down towards bot side.
Yeah.
Beitron's gone. Beitron's gone into the enemy jungle. Iwandi wasn't there briefly. See that Prince had to pop the ghost to get from outer turret. Iwandi now caught out in the middle of nowhere. Dangerous moment.
A bit difficult. Fofo's roaming on down though with the Tristana, and so don't look to actually properly brawl here. But it's Prince who loses another bit of a wave there.
Important thing to notice as well in the next couple of trades. Hung has gone for the Knight's Vow. Yukon misses his cooldowns, clears out the wave there. He'll be fine. He can go back to wherever he wants to. You can even look for a reset now if he has the gold for anything. Fofo takes a Q back in the back end of that. But when you have the Knight's Vow, which has been kind of like the most recent armor tank item that tanks have been building up to, you just make sure that your extra carry as well is just a lot more safe. Hoya gets himself, sadly, no empowered W on that one. Would have been nice to get the extra damage there, but still, he can look for a recall now.
Does indeed. Over towards the Grubs we go again. Will be WE here first this time. Beitron and 1xN are coming up, but I think they might be a little too late. How much time can Hoya buy? Quite enough so far.
So one of the big things about Renekton around, like, it used to be Herald, now it's the Grubs. If you keep hitting the Grubs, you get a lot of anger for free. That's going to be one Grub taken. Takes away potential of a 5 Grub buff from TT. That might be enough for them, and indeed it is. They don't really want to play around Hoya. One of his points in power, Dominus back up, potentially getting up to very high rage. Again, when Renekton starts throwing out these empowered abilities, they're about double strength comparative to other champions' abilities in the early game. And that can be all the difference. Wayward has the HP advantage right now, though. Hoya needs to start getting back towards rage and see if he can get a good trade, maybe with his ultimate, to buy some space in lane.
Culling the wave a little bit there with the Q. That's about it. Prince all the while didn't roam, though, so just get to shove out and claim some of the minions he's lost earlier on. Actually, big trade there from Wayward, who does have the Ignite and the Equalizer, so I wonder how aggressive they're going to get. Hoya's got the teleports, so he should be out just fine.
Yeah, he's been waiting for a good reset for a while. I wonder if you can get him towards like a first item more of Malmortius. That might be the answer for him. Just saying, look, this will be the item which changes the laning phase. And actually, he's not even going towards that. He only gets himself a Ruby Crystal, not got that much gold in inventory. Goes back towards lane all the same, though. On top side, Fofo's on top side. There's no response. They'll see it now. He is in a bit of a lurch here.
He's got a Dominus in a dream, but I think he's going to clear out this wave very fast indeed. Gets beyond the Equalizer briefly, but now behind the tree, just walking down the red carpet and dies kind of a free.
Yeah, he never got beyond that Equalizer. Was on it the entire time. Fofo jumps forward, takes aggro. He can't flash forward quick enough to do much, and the Buster Shot keeps him on it as well. That's another thing too. Buster Shot nasty at that point. What is going to be the cost? You got Fofo able to put a bomb towards top side. That'll be a couple of plates because it's Tristana. And WE on the other side can't defend bot lane though. 1xN getting a lot of good gold. Bot lane kind of getting into a bad spot here now. Prince has given up a lot for this. Beitron also towards this dragon. That's going to be 2 early dragons with the smite coming through as well. So WE trading top side for bot side pressure. I feel like this Lucian is going to start really popping now. Shiv already built up.
Yeah.
WE, they need to be careful of how much gold they're giving to 1xN. He's a great player of this champion, and this power spike is nasty.
It's not really entirely on Prince Iwandi here because, not to be funny, but Hong has just not been around bot lane. He's just not turned his head up at all. He's been top side pretty much the entire game. Started pathing bot to top and has kind of left this bot lane out to dry a little bit. It has come at the cost of 1xN getting this early lead, and the gold lead remains dead even despite the 2-kill advantage.
This is a great game for Lucian too in a lot of ways because there's no one that can tank your culling, ever. Now, you got the Lucian, which gives you the extended range. It means that you can stay beyond the Tristana's range for most of mid-game. Late game, maybe it changes a bit because Tristana passive draw a bead gives you the extra attack range, but on the whole, I think Lucian's pretty happy with how he wants to play out a lot of this. Teleport towards top side from Fofo now on that Tristana, trying to get himself into side lanes. Tristana loves to get a bit of gold, go into a side lane, just make a mess of people trying to contest with her. Hoya might be able to finally, as lanes start to switch around though, get himself a free laning phase where he doesn't just have to pop Dominus on cooldown to wave clear.
Can give Fofo a second moment here to claim another turret plate. Got 2 earlier on, this will be a 3rd, and with a couple grubs and Tristana being Tristana, that's relatively easy to secure 1xN. I looked for a little bit more there. I think did get the first strike there. That's about it.
It's gold. First strike and joys. Well, no, it is just like slightly there. So you've got to get. I remember a clip from Perks last year, just having a most brain dead death because he ends up having the Jason mid lane. Goes, I've got to look for the first strike. Dies for it. But it's like, well, I did get first strike at least. Such is the mentality. It's like the old kleptomancy stackers. Hoya actually getting a good amount of time on this bot side. Get some plates for himself there as well. I'm kind of finishing off some part of what 1xN started. I don't really think Hoya can... Yeah, Hoya can't really step up and do the rest of that. I mean, the grub buff's really helping that. Hoya... I wonder what he's going to get as his first item, actually, because he's not gone towards the Hex Ranker first. He might go towards a Black Cleaver, I suppose. He is on an angle here to potentially fight. He has ult and he has flash, but with Wayward also potentially able to roam up from bot lane, I don't know if TT really want to play around this. They do have a great item power spike. I think it's quite intelligent here, actually, putting the Tristana mid lane. You're using the mid lane AD carry to contest with the bot lane one. The Kai'Sa can't contend with the mid lane prio, but the Tristana can, and that means that Tristana, the Kai'Sa can go into a side lane. She's one of the best side laning AD carries. I like this lane assignment.
Yeah, and 1xN, of course, down a couple levels, and a big trade on the other side, though, because the one thing you do for doing this, though, is leave your other AD carry who's lower levels alone against a flippin' Nico.
Why is Prince walking as a level 9 AD carry into Fog of War against a one-item Nico? That is exactly the kind of mistake which we cannot afford to see out of AD carries at this point. You're there to farm up. You allow your mid lane AD carry to contest the Lucian while you just get value. Hoya now going to get dove on the bot side. He doesn't have dominance. He's probably dead. But still, WE making mistakes they shouldn't have been making on the other side.
Bardol even comes through at the end of it all to try and disengage the turret, but now on the top side, the Herald was summoned. They've claimed tier 1 up there. They'll claim likely the tier 2 as well as Prince comes on, but he just doesn't have the wave clear to deal with this right now. And he needs to be a little bit afraid about how long he can stay here. Will fall to the mites, and they claim 2 turrets.
I thought that TT were, you know, potentially falling prey to good lane assignment. Prince on the Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa has always been, since release, a champion that likes to sit in side lane. As soon as you get Q upgrade and something like a Shiv, you clear through waves very quickly. But it feels like the response from TT, and let's be honest, just the play of UCal, solves that problem for them. You can see that Fofo, again, he's trying to use the level advantage you have on the Tristana to say, I can contest the Lucian. Typically, Lucian is the best mid lane AD carry, the one that sits in mid lane after early laning phase, gets you wave push and gets you kills. Tristana can do that because she has an extra level from mid lane. She has extra gold from the tower plates as well, which is from God and from across the map. But the fact that Prince makes that mistake puts them into a difficult situation now. This should have been winning for the last minute or two. UCal bails them out.
And Fofo, even though he won the trade against 1xN, it had to be with the addition of the Buster Shot. And even then, it was only down about just under half HP. The Cozy Campfire keeping the Lucian topped up just fine. Just picked up a second item. Yeah. Rapid Fire Cannon, 2 relatively cheap items in. Feeling pretty okay right now for 1xN.
And now with Milio, Campfire, and then also the Rapid Fire Cannon, you're hugely outranged in mid lane, and it means that 1xN can look for huge burst trades. You don't pull the culling out until you see the Buster Shot. A lot of the time you do it after that point, because that's the one way that Tristana can cancel that. But look at this. You jump forward the double range, and Prince can't contest this. This is why Prince was not in this lane in the first place. But the fact that he couldn't survive in a side lane throws WE's plans for a loop. Dragon's coming up in 15 seconds. Fofo will have teleport, but they will not have mid lane priority. They're waiting on Wayward, really, to carry this fight. Liandry's needs the large rod. Very, very strong, but he needs to get huge value before 1xN does.
And of course, you sort of be a little bit afraid of the likes of UCal, who's gone to a Pop Blossom, a Rocket Bell, and a Pop Blossom, Rocket Bell stopwatch. Well, Arm Guard now. The point being, UCal's playmaking tools are top draw for this point in the game. It looks like WE want nothing to do with it. They're going to try and get Fofo free time in that top lane to claim a turret.
And they'll get that one for free. You can see that Hung's been doing a really good job of just going into side lanes and threatening Hoya. 0-3 on the Renekton. We did kind of say, well, no, Renekton, first pick. It can give you some side lane wave clear. We saw Shanji have a great game on the Renekton, just wave clearing against dive opportunities. But in this game, it's not really been as valuable. So Fofo has himself teleport. Bardol is going to save this extra kind of this turret from an extra wave, and that can help them stop the Lucian from rolling over this turret. I think that the potential of TT taking that mid lane out of turret is really annoying for WE. At least they have side lane pressure now to stop them having as many good ancient. But
oh my lord, the damage is huge.
It's Lucian, man. Lucian in mid lane, 2 items. Got that Milio upgrade as well. Good combo there. Can you get the kill before the tunnel comes through? No, he can't. UCal, though. Good combo. And now suddenly, with Prince getting caught out in mid-wave, that is tower gone. Wayward puts down the equalizer too late. WE, I really feel like a couple of mistakes from Prince have ended up putting WE into an awful position. You can't contest mid lane like this. You have to just sit and wave clear. This is exactly what Lucian's going to do at this item breakpoint. And I get that Kai'Sa can't contest it, but if you can't contest it, why you stood there?
And then we've also got to call out that's Hong using ultimate, Wayward using ultimate, I Wonder using ultimate to save the mid lane tower and still failing. Whereas 1xN presses R. He gets so much damage out there, and especially with things like the change to static shift feel really good for Lucian. Oh no, 5 less attack speed on Lucian. I don't care that much about that. The additional 10 attack damage, really nice compared to a Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, and Lucian already has good wave clear. He bought Storm Razor before, which is a good proc damage, but then just the extra stats are so nice for this champion again. Level 11, second tier of ultimate, very, very strong. 2 items. Next time he jumps forward onto Prince, that's going to be disgusting. And you see that the Maokai has been using ult in side lane so much that 1xN hasn't been countered by the Maokai. Typically, Maokai does counter Lucian, because when he jumps forward, like we saw there in the last bit, Maokai casts ult and he can't finish off the kill. If you're using that to kill the Renekton in the side lane, Lucian gets to kill you in mid lane at the same time. So TT, good moments for them. They have themselves soul point. It's a mountain soul point that will help them an awful lot against the likes of the Rumble, which is trying to keep people burning down. I'm trying to get some flat pen maybe at some point in his build as well. Let's see if they can finish off that soul early, because again, WE, they lose this one, they are worried for where they will end up in that playoffs bracket, or in that playoffs bracket at all. Like I said, jump forward again.
Oh, big chunk on Y8D, the culling afterwards, and dead to right. It's a beautiful combo from Thunder Talk Gaming.
It's beautiful from them. 1xN, we said that this Lucian is a pick which the team succeeds on. Even though 1xN has got better individual champions, the Lucian is something that the player really does well on. But WE, you can't contest this. It's so annoying to see them keep doing this over and over again. I think Bayward will die as well.
Redemption is good. Buys a lot of time. The burn is good. It works at a 1-for-1. Y8D from downtown uses at least something to make it a little more even than it might have been otherwise.
So Wayward uses the Ignite, gets a kill in that side lane as well. So it's not a clean victory for TT. Wayward still continuing to be a point in power. How much carrying can he do in this game, though? Really feels like it is on Wayward and Hung to do something big. 1xN on Vision again. He doesn't have Chocho with him right now. He is left alone right now. Has E, has Flash. How much can they do? There's a Bard ult as well. What can they do here?
So you need to flash as well. Decides he has to, and I think that's probably wise, considering how many WE members
can we see
around.
A teleport from UCal? That's exactly what we're doing. Double teleport. This could be the game killer.
Watch out for the damage. UCal can try and get in with the pop plus. He's stunned. Fantastic work. Now Prince getting to ult, and then magical journey away, flashing away down the other side. Hong in a dangerous position though, means he might die. Needs to be very, very careful. The pot ult is fantastic, tempering the fates of Thunder Talk and their players. WE alive.
Oh, but what a mistake from Hoyer and UCal. They line up for the stun. It's a big mistake. That should have closed the game right there. That should have been the game breaker. You should be able to use that to get kills, go into side lanes and push out waves, and then go towards the dragon after. So a big swing and a miss from TT in one of the most powerful moments in this game. Y8D saving WE. Look back into this replay. The double teleport comes through, but they just line up too far, and he uses the clone. He uses the clone. That's what happens. A mistake from UCal. Tries to hide himself. He had the flash. He could have just used that anyway. Flash, Protobelt. Should have been it. Mistake from UCal in an important moment. We said he had a lot of responsibility in this game as the Nico to try and get some huge combos. Can't quite get it done this time.
30 seconds until Mountain Soul, potentially for Thunder Talk. And the key here, though, I'll note, is Prince being down, Flash and Ghost, Hong being doing Flash, and as well, could prove really, really difficult. This Kaiser's ability to impact the fight is going to be so, so difficult with those summoners down. And Y8D on the other side, being jumped on earlier on, not going to take too much damage there, and has a healing shrine to try and top him back up.
Yeah, he can at least get something, and there's a redemption too. So that chunk is not going to be the end of it, but again, just look how much damage 1xN is doing. Uses that second tier ultimate. You can't heal everyone right now. The redemption is going to come in right now. That's the last of it, though. Any other poke beyond this point, you are out of sustain. UCal has flash, has ult. Couldn't make it land the last time. Can you do it now?
Reminder as well, Hong having bought an early locket as well to try and mitigate some of the burst. I think that was popped as well, but that's a lot of those defensive tools out of the way. It's not like Thunder Talk is shy of damage, so it's got a lot of ultimates left to run. And this looks like Soul, unless WE can find some way in as Y8D down to about 20% HP.
Is he going to be in range for ult? Maokai ult coming through. Here comes the crunch.
But it's a well-timed breath of life, down to 3,000 HP. UCal on the flank, looking to get into the side. Y8D so desperately low, needs to be afraid. Hoyer pops the Dominus.
Okay, can we get a steal? Beitron low.
Gotta go in, it's taken that Soul. The Pop blossom afterwards, eviscerates them all. Pop goes the Weasel. There ain't no small mammal left. They've lost 4, and they lose Soul, and they'll lose Baron after as well. Thunder Talk, bring the lightning.
And they used to be known as Team World Elite. They've been made to look like Team World rookies and cadets at this point. TT, show them how it's done. Thunder strikes after the lightning charged Nico ultimate that we've been waiting for. 3-0 and 3 on the Nico. Done a great job in this one, and this should be the game killer that we've been waiting for. We thought it'd be the double teleport into mid lane. Y8D saved them from that one, but he couldn't save them from the Soul going over, the Baron going over. This should lead into huge resets. There is no cross map available for WE. They haven't been able to get waves away from their side of the map. And Team WE, this was a team we expected potentially to be top 4 with their remaining schedule. They might be sliding out of playoffs at worst case scenario. This would put things into a really spicy situation for them as TT technically keep their dream alive on the other side of it. It comes down to a smite flip. It comes down to a flip. The Milio ultimate cleans out of the Rumble ultimate. Baytron does stand around on the equalizer for a while, but it's not enough to put him into threat. Iwandi's so low. He can't step up and look for those big stuns. And it means that you're just waiting to see what can come through. Prince gets caught in the initial combo as well. Very hard for the Kaiser to play in grouped up fights, but even then, caught by a Nico route through the team fight. Another painful moment for the AD carry that has been switched in and out.
Just look at the items, well, double recurve mode and the BF sword had to change tacks from what would likely have been something like a Navori and instead having to go towards the Terminus to try and hold on to some HP bar because every single fight, this Kaiser is on the wrong end of a lot of DPS. Now you've got the Infinity Edge and the Hex Drinker in for 1xn. Yukal's damage is high, Bejuan as well. No slouch, 2 items on the Viego, 2 items on the Renekton. You've got more than one threat to consider.
Okay, so we've got Bard ult, we have the Mark ult coming through as well. There's Yukal with the teleport.
Gonna try and get the one out. The Breath of Life is good, buy some time, but they're still gonna get a stun to 1xn. He's trying to play the one out hung. Kind of deciding, yeah, I don't want this flank. The teleport comes on through. It's Yukal versus Fofo on the other side of the rift. With Fofo with no teleport, can't get to these fights as easily.
I think Yukal's just on wave clear duty, just making sure that the Tristana can't sit on the tower. That's exactly what's happening. He gets a bomb onto it. You just be careful now.
Just desperately low. Immediately the culling comes out, the tower's gone. Forced to flash out, and I think this is just the inhibitor gone with no response.
Yeah, Fofo can't stop this topside push. We've now got Yukal teleporting into the mid wave. He goes in and makes sure that the Baron buff is being used on that one. And WE, they're losing a lot of towers now at this point. They lose an inhibitor. Bejuan on the side, he's safe. He can either flash or ult away if anyone does try and do a snap pick onto him. Fofo returns to top lane, but can they defend mid lane at the same point? Yukal just off a vision. He can look for a kill out.
Oh, pop blossom to the backside of the Prince, who just can't get far enough away. He has flash, he has ghost, he just doesn't use them. That Dentarite's wayward flashes away, and it's been a wayward series for WE. They are off the beaten track and finding themselves tipped over. This car is derailing before playoffs.
From Prince to Pauper, Team WE, they could have been one of our very top teams, but they get shocked. They get thunderstruck as TT look to close this out at 2-0.
It is a shocking turn of events, all puns intended. 1xn marks the spot. It has been a phenomenal ending to this game. It was clean, it was concise, it was a beautiful victory to Thunder Talk. It's finally a tempered fate, but you know what? You can only cut them so much. The game still ends this way. Your fate is sealed.
Yukal screaming in joy as they end that game. This player, I feel so much for Yukal. Yukal, fantastic ultimates. Last year, he cried as they lost their final series and he couldn't quite make playoffs. They're in a similar scenario this time. This is one of those backs against the wall moments where TT are looking to qualify for one of those rare playoffs opportunities for a team that has typically not had the lofty aspirations of the top of the table. They've tried to just get into playoffs, but this team's had tenacity. They've had a lot of series this split where it feels like they've had to really fight tooth and nail. This one, it felt like they had a bit more inspiration, and it felt like really they managed to punish a lot of the really awkward positioning moments from Prince. I'm continually asking myself, where is Stay? Prince, for me, is just not doing it for this Team WE roster. Is it all on him? No, absolutely not. I feel like this team has a lot of growth in terms of how to play around their wave understanding, play around how to understand resets. We saw in this game very early into the game, Bejuan stops a reset from Bard. That messes over the laning phase from Prince. Prince can't get ahead. He can't deal with the Lucian, and then he makes mistakes in side lanes. It's a whole team issue, which has led to a whole team loss. Yeah. And now we see Team WE 7-7. Where does that leave them overall? They were at +2 before this. They go down to 0. They are now level on game score and series score with OMG. They are only 2 individual games ahead of anyone's legend. They are very close to getting outside of that playoffs bracket. And Team W, with the way that they're playing, I think they could lose against any team at this point. I'm just looking at the remaining. They're against LNG. That could genuinely be a match for a playoffs berth. And then they're also against Ultra Prime, who are potentially in a place to blue shell. Yes, they are a last place team right now, but they're another team like TT who have had some upstart series, and they could be an upset. Team W under pressure.
Where are Thunder Talk at? What have they got left to play? I see FPX as the last game, which could of course
Top
be
Esports and FPX.
Oh, boy.
So, if UCal were to make playoffs with TT, and I really feel this is a lot about UCal because of the year and a half that he has had, what a way to do it. I feel for it because I can already tell there is a heartbreak brewing where UCal can have games like this and he could still not make playoffs. But what if it happens? What if it happens?
I know.
Because they go up to what, 6 wins now? They need 1 series win minimum. If they get both, they might get it. It's hard. It's it's rough.
I mean, look at the damage discrepancies in mid and bot.
Oh,
1xN
God.
does what Wayward did on this one. And in fairness, let's not beat around the bush. WB played around top side. Hung path top to bot. Everyone went top multiple times. And it comes at cost.
Folks.
It comes at serious cost. Prince only did less than 1,000 damage more than his support bard.
1xN, probably up around about the 800 damage per minute. Prince, 180 damage per minute.
Oh, no.
That is about an auto attack a minute for the entire game, hitting champions. If you want to put it in there. Maybe slightly less. This game from Prince was... A lot of it was on better map understanding from 1xN, Chocho, and Beichuan, but still, really struggled to get himself into the game. Hoya, it's another side lane Renekton game where you sat there like,
yeah.
what do you do?
I mean, my worry here is, you understand why WE tried to attack Hoya, because he has been a weak point, but like, that's sad. That's really unacceptable.
This was the play that broke the game, because this should have been Prince picking up free farm in a side lane. He walks away from his turret into Fog of War, and he dies knowing that UCal is in his lane. Another big thing here too is that Hoya, he died a lot in side lanes, but whenever the Mark ult was used in a side lane, it allowed 1xN to all in mid lane. I think that actually there's a bit of a misunderstanding from how that Mark wants to play the game too, you know, because you want to be there to answer what's going to happen